That's fun. If you're going to put shopping ahead of my show, I understand. I can't get in the way of that. So, we're live. You can tell I time these things appropriately. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Caliber Corner, episode number 79. It's Sunday morning. It's 8 a.m. Central Time. I want to apologize for not having my show on my usual day. We should be back to Saturdays next week, hopefully from the man cave. Just been busy weekends, a lot of running around we had to do, but we're going to go ahead and get things started here. We got a lot of fun topics for today. We'll talk about 300 Blackout versus 5.56 versus 9mm and some sort of a defensive carbine / pistol roll for CQB. Just in time for the next arriving polar vortex, we're going to talk about cold weather gear, how to stay nice and warm at the range. Best time to go to the range is when it's 35 below zero. I can guarantee you'll have nobody else out there. And finally, top 3 favorite SHTF handguns. But before we get into that, we're going to let some people show up because this is not my usual time and place. We're going to go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves. So I think this time, Tony, we're going to start with you. So, Tony, what's new, man? Did you survive the polar vortex?
Barely. I can't remember it ever being as cold as it was Wednesday.
You said you got what were the temperatures? Wind chill, no wind chill. What was you guys were sitting on?
The weather service said I was sitting at minus 18 and 53 below wind chill.
Oh my God!
And I go outside, 10, 15 times a day because I walk from the house to the coffee pot, back to the garage. And every time I stepped past the corner of the garage and that northwest wind hit me, it was like getting punched in the face.
Why isn't your coffee maker out in the garage? We'll pick you one up. We should do a GoFundMe. We can get you hooked up with something, man. I would have one out. As much time as you're out in the garage, you should have one out there, bro.
No water.
Just fill up some jugs and take them with you, or they'll probably freeze.
No, the garage stays warm.
It stays warm? Oh, yeah, you got to heat it, don't you? Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I come out here that morning and it was about 45 degrees.
Oh, man, no wonder why you keep your sharp edge all day long, huh? Because you're sitting out in that chilly garage all day. And
it's about 75 right now.
Do you got a wood burner out there or some sort of, what do you do? You do a propane heater or what do you got?
Little electric heaters plugged into the wall.
Okay, cool. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you thawing out to join us today. I know hopefully it warms up for you guys today too. What are you guys going to get up to today?
We're talking about going to the range.
Oh,
it turned out to be exceptionally foggy this morning, so I don't know how that's going to work or not.
Yeah, same here. We're talking like 45 or 50 degrees or something like that. So, yeah. Cool, man. Well, I'm glad you're here, and thanks for joining us on a Sunday morning. Like I said, this isn't my usual go time, but we're going to make it work for today. So, all right.
Hey, man, I appreciate the invite. I got no life.
Awesome. Oh, now come on. You got a life. You're with us, man. You're somebody. Dang it. All right, man. All right, so Squib, what's new in your world, man? You were a busy guy yesterday. What's going on, man?
Yeah, yesterday so Friday night I got an invite to Gizzard Gary's show, and I really appreciate that because Friday is the worst night at the factory, and it helped me get through the end of the day. We shut down the plant, and it's just by the end of the week I'm tired, and so multiply all that together. So doing the shows or listening to going back and listening to shows that I missed helps me get through the shift. I appreciate all you guys. And during the show, Gary said, hey, what's everybody doing for Every Second Matter? And, I was like, I'm doing an oil change. It's really kind of lame. And I thought about it. And, the weather got really nice.
Yeah.
And we don't normally take the dog out for a walk in the winter because it's just too cold out there. And I said, I should take the dog out and I should strap on the old 1911 and do an open carry walk for Every Second Matters. I'm glad he got me thinking, and I was processing overnight, and the weather just happened to be just right, and I had the time, and we went on a walk, and I was on Rick's show, and I actually got stopped by somebody walking her dog, and she wanted to know why I was carrying a gun, and it wasn't standoffish or combative or anything. She had a lot of questions.
Okay.
And she said she walked away from it knowing a lot more stuff than she knew before. I didn't get somebody to go, hey, I want to get a gun and go out to the range, but at least she wasn't scared the whole time. She wasn't intimidated. It was a real positive experience, but it's the first time somebody's actually ever stopped and noticed. I mean, people have looked. We've stopped. We've walked the dog, talked to people. as we're going down the street and stuff like that, and nobody's ever, given me a dirty look or glared at this flap holster or, said anything. Hey, you scared of something? Are you a cop? Or, this is the first time she's just like, what is that on your belt? So it was a good experience. And then I also I got a package in the mail from Hawaii Volcano Squad. He sent me some Kona coffee.
Ooh.
Now, I'm going to say this first.
Yeah.
Doing food videos is easy. So, but doing a coffee video specifically, I did my first one last night and this morning while we were in the pre-chat. I actually had to move the phone out of the room so there wouldn't be any background noise. And these coffee videos that you shoot, they're more work than what it looks like.
Well, they're very rewarding. You get all jacked up on caffeine when you get done with it, so that makes it fun. Coffee, I'm anybody knows me up at my job. I'm completely a coffee nerd. I mean, I've got I don't know, Keurig is kind of cheating, but I always try all these different varieties, and I'm always willing to share cups of coffee with anybody that stops by. I mean, I just enjoy it. I try different brands and different varieties. There's stuff I like. There's stuff I don't necessarily have a preference for, but
I really liked Kona, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth. It's a nice kind of medium.
Well, yeah. Oh no, it's good. It's good coffee. But I mean, I'm trying to, I go get the grinder out. I never grind coffee beans. I have one, but it's usually only if I get coffee as a gift, right, that I actually get bean coffee. And I go to open it up. I haven't wiped it out. It's been sitting in there for, I don't know, a year. And it's like, all right. Turn off the camera, go clean it out, put it, and then I have to put a little caption after I wiped it out. And, and then I go to grind it and my arms are in front of the camera. So, or I'm trying to open up the vacuum seal and I'm blocking the shot. And then I'm trying to get Mr. Coffee in the shot, but I'm not trying to get the whole kitchen. And I'm going, damn, is this what Travis goes through every time? I'm like looking around because I brew with distilled water, not tap water. And I don't even have that ready off camera. And I'm just, and it was just like, you got to do like, how many individual files is this? This is,
I'll have like 15, 12 or 15
11
clips.
11 clips to probably do 60 seconds of grinding coffee beans and watching Mr. Coffee brew. I took a couple different short, like 10-second segments of just with the camera pointed at the coffee maker brewing, just so I could do just a couple seconds of you just hearing it brew. I'm like, oh man, I got a whole new appreciation for what Travis puts into these things.
And just from a creator standpoint, I'll drop, and I'm not kidding, probably 4 or 5 hours into what would be a 10-minute video. By the time you get everything ready, you go, you shoot, you clean everything up, you get back home. Everybody's going to have different travel time to the range. You get your clip loaded on the computer, you put everything in, you have to export the video, you have to upload the video, you have to put your annotation and your information. I mean, it takes, I can't even tell you how many hours I put into it. I get most of mine done, luckily, before the wife gets home from work, and we don't have any kids, which is the only reason why I have time to do it. That's it. I mean, it does take a long time, but it's definitely worth it. Cleaning videos can take a long time too. Any of the disassembling cleaning videos, I know that a lot of people don't watch them, but those are actually my favorite ones to make because it's just you talking while you clean your firearm. And those can take a while to get the right angles. The right lighting is the hard part because I film everything in my kitchen.
Yeah.
So I don't have like massive spotlights. I got a couple lights up above and what natural light comes in through the windows. So
I did an intro and an outro for yesterday's E2M walk, and I took my Every Second Matters card and put it on my reload bench with, like my 1911 and the dog leash and stuff like that, right? And I'm just talking about I'm about to go on a walk, blah, blah, blah. Well, I go back to play it back, and the light coming down glares so you can see every second, but you can't see matters. So then when I went back later and shot the intro for the mail call from HVS, I moved the card back up against the beam scale so that you can actually see the whole card. Yeah. And it's just little things like that. If you haven't made a video, I suggest you get out there. You can do it with a cell phone. Actually, my video quality from my cell phone is better than from my action camera. Yeah. But I mean, Windows Movie Maker's free with your operating system. It's not the best software, but I mean, if you wanted to make a video and upload it to YouTube, it's work, but it's not hard for somebody without a whole lot of resources. I suggest trying it just so you get an appreciation for how much work it is.
I get a lot of people that'll be longtime viewers of our videos and our podcast. I'm like, hey, I made my first range video today. In fact, I'm going to share a link with you guys for Suey778. He's got a brand new video he just posted this morning, and he's just kind of gotten into making gun videos. And it's neat hearing people ask questions about the creative process and how much fun it is. I encourage everybody, man, just take your gun to the range and film yourself shooting it, or when you take your gun apart, or do an unboxing. I love watching unboxing videos to see what these things look like when people pull them out, because sometimes you're surprised with what you get or what you don't get. So, but hey, let's keep going with the intros. So Sandhills, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Good morning. I'm running on about 4 hours of sleep.
But
I'm here.
Yes. Thank you.
Hopefully I won't pull a Gizzard Gary and and check out early. So thanks for the invite. Glad to be here.
Just keep that camera covered. We'll never know. So just keep your camera covered. So
that's right.
Hey, real quick, what's the topic on 2A Tuesday, and will it be on Tuesday?
It should be on Tuesday this week. We do have some stuff. I don't think it's going to affect us by that late in the day. So I'm planning on the normal time, 9 o'clock Central Time this week, Tuesday night. The topic this week is going to be constitutional carry. And whether or not that's a good idea, if states that have implemented this are having problems with shootouts in the street, that kind of stuff.
Are you gonna have Gizzard Gary on there? We'll have some people on from constitutional carry states, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to. We actually, Nebraska shares a border with 6 states, and as of this last week, now 4 of those have constitutional carry.
I'm sitting here thinking, we are surrounded by greatness. Are we going to be that bass-ackwards that we'll be the last state in the union to actually make it happen?
There's just a narrow band that we're in.
If that kind of pressure from around, if enough people get active and start saying something to our representatives, I would think that they would get smart about it and say, we've already got all these people traveling through, just for ease of travel for people coming through, and just for ease of, you have your defined rules about who can carry and where, but just open it up, just be done with it. They'll probably complain about losing revenue from what the concealed carry permit fees bring in and all that garbage, but hey, if they put the sales tax on internet purchases like they're pushing for right now, that'll make up for a lot of revenue that we're not getting. And maybe we can let some other stuff go, like the $100 or the $50 fee for your concealed carry permit and $50 for your background check and all that garbage. So,
yeah, exactly.
All right, man. Cool. Thanks for being us here. We'll check up on you periodically to make sure you're still awake. And if you don't respond, I promise I won't turn your camera on. Okay.
All right. Hey, thanks.
Be like, drool.
You go ahead and point that somewhere else, just in case you do.
Yeah, there we go. They just have it pointed at the wall, like the cat sleeping on the side.
I'll just point it out the window. That way, if you do turn on my camera, you won't see me.
Exactly. All right, man. David Bowling's in the house. David, you've been busy too lately. I've seen you in a ton of chats and podcasts and staying busy on your channel. So what's going on, man?
Not too much. Just enjoying the experience. A lot of real good people out there. For some odd reason, they treat me good, and I appreciate it. So I keep coming back.
Well, dude, you contribute to the discussion. So since you're kind of the young guy here, we're gonna haze you a little bit, David. Right? AWAG, he's been on these podcasts a little bit longer than you, even though he's a couple years younger than you. But David, I realized something. I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday. I did my hashtag Nacho Fries challenge. It was a response to Night Strike, and he told me last night. He goes, "Well, you didn't push it on to anybody else." I didn't know I was supposed to. I thought it was just a one-on-one challenge. So, David, I'm going to put this on you. Do you have a Taco Bell in your state at all?
I have a Taco Bell in my state, and it's about 5 minutes from my house.
Oh, my God. See, now mine's an 80-mile round trip. If I can do it, you can too. So, David, I'm throwing down. I want you to tabletop review Nacho Fries, David Bowling style. Can you do that for me?
Oh, you poor souls. I have 3 Taco Bells that are the same distance apart from my house.
And then you're going to pass it on over to AWAG as soon as you get done too. So David will post his video. We're going to keep this train rolling. I want all of you to do at least one food review video just to see how much fun it is. And I hope to God you don't make a food channel out of it, but I just want to get that out. So David, I want your take on it, man. Hopefully you're not lactose intolerant. Hopefully you can handle glutens and stuff. And did you say you're pulling a train? Well, I have no idea, Sandals. What did I just say? I have no idea. I said we're gonna push this one off to everybody else. So David, upcoming videos on your channel. What can we expect to find?
I'm going to do another Firearms Inventors playing card series. I'll probably have it ready by this weekend.
Who are you working on? Who's next?
Horace Smith is next, and then it's been a pretty cool series. Like the first one I did on Derringer, Andrew Faulkner put out a video because he's got about a couple pocket guns and a Derringer.
Okay.
So I didn't link that. So I'm going to go back and when I put the next video out, and I'll mention it and I'll link to it. Then in the second video, Squib helped me out a whole bunch, and everybody. It seems like a lot of people are getting involved, and then the Horace Smith one. When I talked about that one coming out, the poor conservative said that he asked me about Otis Smith.
Yeah.
And he said he's got some Otis Smith guns. So when he gets a video done on that, I'll do a bonus Otis Smith, and then I'll link to his. So it's been pretty cool that other people are getting involved. So I appreciate it from everybody.
Sweet, man. Good deal. Yeah, a lot of good content out there if you guys check around. And before we forget, make sure you go to gunchannels.com and sign up and check out. There's a lot of awesome content that was posted there yesterday over on guntube.org also. So, all right. And last but not least, AWAG's joining us today. I'm sure maybe we'll have a couple more people joining in. So, AWAG, you said you got to take off here pretty soon, but what's coming up on your channel? What can we expect to find?
Right now, I'm kind of fooling around with the settings on my GoPro, mostly with the time-lapse settings. I've been messing around last night with exposure times and shutter times. So hopefully there's I'm actually working on it right now. Hopefully it'll be up in the next like 5-10 minutes, is a time-lapse at nighttime where I adjusted the exposure times so that it's much longer than what it should be, so that when the cars drive by, it kind of like smears the light pattern and it looks like they're like laser beams just kind of like beaming across.
Oh, cool.
It's really cool.
Well, you had your Skycast video that you posted yesterday where you showed the sky going over the course of the day, and I didn't know what inspired that, or if you just decided to set the camera up and film the sky, which is kind of cool watching the patterns and stuff. So that was you learning how to use the GoPro?
Yep. And what my ultimate goal is to have a it's something that I've seen in the automotive community, is where people just like wash their cars, and then it gives like a jump cuts to like a time change. And I want to start doing more complex sort of transitions. So the one thing that I was seeing is how people were like washing their cars, and they would remove the entire audio from the original video, and then they would go back and like make brush noises in front of their microphone, so that you get like only the audio of the brush.
Oh, interesting. You're getting all artsy on us now, man. We're gonna start having the AWAG Criterion collection videos, and
so basically all the videos on my channel are just, each video has sort of a test of a new feature, dating from the first meme video that I put on my channel. So that has like scrolling text and like things being thrown across the screen, sound effects and things. So hopefully I can you can see the progress through my channel a little bit. So
somebody's got entirely too much free time on their hands.
No, I just get really bored.
Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. I don't know. I think we almost need to maybe push this challenge off to Tony after AWAG gets done. I think we need to run it through the entire gamut of the panel. All these people in the chat are saying, don't go to Taco Bell. Don't do Taco Bell. Don't go there. It wasn't. Those were good, but everything else I had was kind of, it was not very good. So, all right, man. So, AWAG, thanks for joining us. So, real quick, we're just going to check in and just see who's with us. We're going to go and take some attendance. Let's check the gun channel side here real quick and see if we got anybody joining in over there. Usually a couple folks. Yes, we do. We got DT Pfeiffer's over there. Daniel Pfeiffer's over there. Sandhills is there and here. Paper Print Plane Crash is with us. David's there and here. They're already having a little chat over there. Morning, Travis. Yo. All right. Let's go over to the YouTube side and see who's joining in. There's already a ton of people with us. Yoder, Texas is out there. Frank Hellman, the poor conservative. Kingpin's out there. Kingpin is here. Patriot in the Dark is with us today. Tacos and French Fries. 2 Live Moo. Ozzy Osbourne. D. Benoit is out there. Benoit. I can never pronounce it right. My bad. Moo Butt's out there. Matt Sexy's out there. Sandhills. Stephen Dawkins. Boobs is with us today. Nathan G or Gee. Kinky Sphincter's out there too. Wasteland Wanderer 76 is joining us. You know, we might have a little bit different crew coming today to watch us versus what we do on our Saturdays. Drucifer's out there. Cowboy Swami's in the house. What's up? Otherwise, I think that's pretty much about it. I apologize if I miss anybody. So,
welcome to Travis P11's Sunday morning service at the Lexington Chapel.
I was gonna say, don't you feel like you're awful heathen?
I should be burning some incense and stuff. I am missing church this morning. I will be. And
yeah,
I'm
but you're causing a mass of others to miss church.
I know. This is terrible. I'm like starting my own church, the Church of the Travi now.
So all you got to do is learn how to pass the offering plate around 5 times during the service.
Yes.
And you'll be fine.
There you go. The Patreon, pass the Patreon plate. There we go. Contribute to the Church of the Travi. I know. But, you know, I didn't think about that until because I was supposed to be out of town, but then everything just turned into it ended up being a one-day trip, a really long one-day trip to get everything home. So, so I don't know, man. Anybody got any topics they want to bring up before we get into what I got listed for today? Anything on your minds? Anything going on? We had some fantastic Every Second Matters content over there on gunchannels.com. There was a 7-hour live stream that they did. I think G-Webs was hosting that, and it was posted for everybody to join in. It was a really good time. I got in the last half hour once we finally got home and got unpacked. But anything else cool that you guys were able to check out or do yesterday?
I did some load development for the Howa Mini action. And it's very interesting to see at 100 yards what 0.2 grains of a powder charge will do to a group size. I went from 24 grains all the way up to 25.8 because 26 grains was starting to get into the high pressure signs.
Okay.
So oddly enough, at 24 grains of powder, I got a group size of about 3 inches. And then when I moved to 24.2, it shrunk the group size down to, I think it was like 1.5 inches. And then when I moved on to 24.4, it kind of like made it bigger again. So after that, all the way up to
overpowering the round, causing it to become unstable once it finally.
No, it's changing velocities, and when that bullet is in the barrel, the barrel vibrates, and that bullet is either ahead or behind the essentially the wave in the barrel, and you want to get that bullet right behind the wave. That way, when it gets to the barrel, it will put it in the optimal spot pretty much every time. Oh, cool. And 25.2 was the best results that I had. It was 0.502 inches across, and the barrel was like steaming hot. So,
you're talking 100 rounds or 100 yards. 100 yard is what you're shooting. Okay, I got you.
So it's right at half an inch, half MOA at 100 yards on a really, really hot barrel too. So if that was a cold bore, it would probably be a lot tighter.
Oh, definitely. Cool, man. Just, hey, I want to mention this real quick. I did yesterday finally order my first reloading kit. I'm going to go easy into it. I'm not going to go too crazy. Yeah, right. I did order the Lee Challenger breech lock kit. And then I did go ahead and order AWAG, that Frankfurt Armory. Is it Frankfurt Armory?
It's Frankfurt Arsenal.
It's not Franklin.
I don't even remember.
Arsenal digital scale because it had really high ratings on it. So I will be getting into some reloading. I won't be doing a lot of reloading videos on YouTube. I'll probably do stuff, maybe do some live streams over on guntube.org where I'm setting it up, talking about it. And I won't even be doing a review of the kit because there are so many great videos out there. I watched one by like Jiu-Jitsu 2000. He's got a video that's 4 years old on that breech lock Challenger kit. And man, he goes through everything and points out the fine details of it and stuff. I've watched it twice now, and I'm going to watch it again when I set up. And so maybe we'll do a little live stream action over on GunTube, and we can take everything out and start to set stuff up. I'm still trying to figure out a bench system that I want to go with.
Jiu-Jitsu's videos are good. They are detailed. He did a lot more in the beginning. He's kind of gone away from that because he's kind of concerned that YouTube will pull his stuff. But I think he did 1 or 2 maybe last year. But yeah, I like his reload videos too.
Yeah. It's check his channel if you were looking at it. And there's tons of reloading videos, and I'm not even going to go into that area. I just like to stick with my gun videos, my shooting videos, my cleaning videos, and all that fun stuff. So I did order that, and that'll be coming this week. And I think it's good. I think I paid $147 delivered for it. There was no sales tax because it was through Amazon, but it was not. And actually, it wasn't through Prime. It wasn't actually from Amazon. It was another seller. And therefore, Amazon doesn't charge you tax on some of those vendors, which was kind of nice because I think it was like $190 if I would have picked it up locally, so it would have been a lot more expensive. But anyway,
so let me ask you this while you're on the subject, or before you leave the subject.
Oh, it's all good.
As far as the length of a video regarding reloading, about the reload process, or about so if you try to rush the video, you're going to leave out stuff. I've seen videos by people who know how to reload that are over an hour long where they've left out steps. Mm-hmm. And they're going, the only reason I know they're leaving out steps is because I'm a reloader. Mm-hmm. I just did a video on the Lee Auto Bench Prime. It's 17 minutes long. I think that's kind of long because some people, if a video is more than a couple minutes, they just lose attention. But with reloading, it's kind of something where if you try to do that in 3 minutes, you're not going to give everybody. So where's the middle ground there?
I think it depends on the type of content you're making, because when I first started getting into guns and firearms, I would watch the entire hour-long Nothing Fancy video or 45 minutes, especially if it was a gun that I bought. If I was really interested in it, I'd watch the whole thing from start to finish to get every single detail. There's some videos where I'll be watching it 5 minutes into it, I'm like, nah, I'm done with this. 8 minutes, I'm into it. It depends on the kind of content. I mean, when it comes to YouTube, the more entertaining and just least thought-provoking content you can put out there seems to be the stuff that always goes viral and keeps the viewers and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I've got people, I guess you can look at and see what the average view time is on your videos and decide if you're going too long or too short. But, somebody can always skip ahead if they don't want to hear that part of it too. I say do what you want to do.
I'm not looking for numbers. I appreciate everybody who subs to me. I appreciate everybody who takes the time to watch. I appreciate everybody who comments. I know a lot of people are going for numbers, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've got my own opinion on that, and it might be misunderstood, but that's a Speaking Squiggish video. But for me, it's to go through the hours and hours of work to make the video, and then somebody watches it and they get so far in and they click it off. And they do want to learn how to reload. And I'm trying to look at it from the point of view of, you don't know very much, or you don't know anything, and you're a little bit intimidated with reloading. Once you get over that intimidation hump, it all just runs smooth. I'm not saying that you never have any sort of issues, or you never have to buy more equipment or learn more stuff. But once you get past that, everybody seems to think the damn thing's going to blow up in their face, and it isn't. Once you get over that hump. But the thing is, just with other videos I've watched, when people omit a step, and I don't know if it's just because they forgot to edit it and they go, this thing took me a week to make, I'm not going back and redoing it, or whatever it is, I don't know. But I feel like if I leave out a detail, I'm not doing somebody justice who wants to learn. But on the other hand, because of the attention span thing, I guess, they could skip ahead if they want to, but I just wouldn't advise it with instructions on reloading.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. My reloading, my gun cleaning videos, I can take 25 minutes to show you how to field strip and clean a Savage Mark II bolt action rifle, one of the simplest firearms out there that a person can learn to shoot on. But I'll go through the cleaning products that I use, the parts to clean, parts to watch out for, disassembly, reassembly, and I still get lots of views on those. People are still interested in it. If somebody gets a gun for the first time, I have my SD9 VE videos that I do. A lot of people say, hey, this is my first pistol. Thank you for taking me through this. I was having trouble taking it apart. I appreciate the tips. Just do what you want to do. I mean, if people want to watch it, they'll watch it. If they don't, if they already know about it, they probably won't be checking it out anyway. So I wouldn't worry about the videos being too long. And again, I hate using Nothing Fancy as an example, but look at the number of subs that he has and look how long his videos are. He's gotten shorter as time has gone on, but I mean, he's got a fan base that will watch the videos. And anytime I talk smack about him, I hear about it from other people on my channel. I see comments where people are like, hey, you shouldn't say that about him. All I would say is, look, I'm not going to do a Nothing Fancy link video on this gun, and then people get triggered, but people enjoy that, and that's fine. I mean, I'll do 25-minute cleaning videos, so just do what you want to do. Don't even worry about it. I've watched UGEtube's video twice now, and it's 22 minutes long. I just sit there and watch the whole thing. So I'm like, okay, this is coming to my home. I want to learn about every part. I want to do it the right way the first time. I'm going to be doing this with you guys. You know, I'm not worried about blowing myself up, but I want to make sure I don't ruin brass or ruin primers or, you know, so I think it's okay, you know?
And that's also the thing too, is with the latest video, well, one of the latest shooting videos that I did was my Howler range day, is I took like 6 hours worth of like recordings and videos. I didn't even want to like I couldn't even show all of it because the video would be too long, you know. I still want to be able to keep people's attention.
Yeah.
Because if you see something that has like it's usually gun related and it's something that's like 40 minutes long, then most people will be like, yeah, I don't have time for this. I just want to see somebody shooting something. So after I shot that one shot where I dotted the eye on the SIG, I had like another 4 or 5 hours worth of recording that I didn't even put into the video.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's part of it too, is you're going to have all this extra content. And I mean, you know, I mean, I've tried to shorten my stuff up a little bit, but it's just my style and that's just what I do. And the thing is, Squib, like you said, if you leave a part out, you're going to feel like maybe there's something that you should just assume that everybody knows how to do, but then you leave that part out and you still hear about it. And so I won't go on that anymore, but yeah.
I think my first video to post like that's going to be a reloading video because I've watched about 60 of them in the past probably 10 days, and every one of them has got something that I disagree with in it. There's a lot of erroneous information out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why you want to watch. I'll usually watch something from a couple different creators to see some differences between it, you know.
But you gave me a good idea about the people being afraid of blowing themselves up. I think I'll do one portion of it where I'm loading powder while smoking a cigarette.
There you say, reloading, you won't blow yourself up. Just call that the title of the video. But now here's the deal though, also with the reloading videos, I don't know. I mean, with YouTube again, that's why I'm going to keep my reloading stuff basically on GunTube, because YouTube could pull my channel. They could nail me for stuff. You know, I just would not want to, you know, do something that's going to cost me the channel because of the whole reloading thing. Although there's still tons of reloading videos up on YouTube that they either just haven't hit or don't care, or maybe the channels are too small, they're not going after them. So it is weird, but
I would say too, Squib, if you're looking at doing like a reloading video or something, you kind of really have two choices, because you don't want to sell it short, and of course you don't want anybody watching your video and then not having all the info they need to be safe.
Yeah.
So what I would say is you either kind of have to do everything all in one video, no matter how long it takes, because reloading, if you do it right, is not a fast process.
No,
you want to be thorough. So,
yes.
Excuse me. So you've got the choice of doing either one long video, or you can take every step and make that a video, and then say, all right, now tune in for the next step when we, you know, now that we've cleaned the brass, now we've got to size cases or whatever you got to do. I mean, you could do a series of videos, and however many steps there are, make a video for each step, and then number them so people watch them in order. Would really be about the only other option you'd have, I would think.
Yeah. Hey, we do have a question for the panel, and then I think we'll go ahead and start with our topics. Yoder Texas wants to know, after your video has been uploaded, what do you do with the raw video that you didn't use? I'll save my response for the end. You guys want to just throw it out there? When you've published your video, what do you do with all that? AWAG, what do you do with that 6 hours of footage? Do you keep it? Do you delete it? Do you move it over to an external hard drive? Do you cloud store it? How long do you sit on it for? What do you guys do with your raw footage when you're done?
Well, what I do with mine is, if it's a 4K file, I will put it in a specified folder, and if I don't use that in, say, a month, it gets canned. But if it's like 1080p or something smaller sized, I'll just put it in a folder and kind of forget about it. And I have 1 terabyte to work with, and if I don't plan on using it later, then it gets the can.
Okay. Now, a lot of you guys know, some of you guys do your stuff solely on your phone. You might do one takes when you make your videos. You film it and that's it. If you don't get it right, you start over again. And even then, you know, you might be kind of running out of space on your phone. You know, even if you got an external memory card or whatever, you could still run low on space. So large hard drives. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got multiple hard drives. I store everything, and then I back everything up every 1 to 2 years. I'll buy another really big hard drive and toss it in the gun safe. And if I ever had to recreate everything on the computer, say like the house burned down and the desktop went, I've got most of it. However, it would take me forever to go back through and update, and because I've got multiple copies of old files. And now that I'm doing videos, I keep them. I've got them on 2 hard drives right now, and I'm going to get it down to 1 hard drive. But I'll be including that in with all the backups. And I know some people don't like storing stuff on their computer. They're virtual. They're into the cloud. They're into, a hard drive does not, dude, for $150, you can buy 8 terabyte hard drive. 8 terabytes is a lot. $150 is not a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and what's funny is a 2 terabytes, $99.
Oh yeah.
What's up with that? Right. So if you want to keep your foot, the one thing is, once you start making videos, you're going to shoot a lot of B stock, okay, or B roll, they call it. And that's where you're shooting something from 3 angles, or you're doing multiple takes on it just in case one doesn't work out, or you're shooting footage of you driving somewhere, and then when you get there, and then when you go to make the video, you go, okay, the driving crap is too long, I'm going to leave that out, whatever. Well, I use that unused footage now for a backdrop for my speaking scribbage videos, because my speaking scribbage, I'm just talking into the voice recorder on my phone, and I'm just doing a voiceover, and I need something for the background. It's like, why don't I just use all this crap footage so I save the raw footage, and I save the edited footage, and then I save the final where like for this one I'm doing right now that while I'm talking to you, there's 6 clips, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but the originals still have their file names from the camera. And if I ever need to go back and do something with it, I'm going to merge all 6 together, and then I'm going to attach it to the intro that I shot last night, and it'll be mail call from HVS. Cool. And I'll save all of that. That takes up a lot of room when you save all of that stuff. But I'm kind of anal like that. I don't like deleting stuff unless I have to. So if you want to do something like that, just be prepared to buy an additional external hard drive or something like that, and you should be fine.
Yeah, I will sit on my clips for about 2 weeks. I'll post the video because I will make mistakes in my video, and there's times I'll have to pull the video, bring the edited file back up, and put something that I forgot or add something I forgot. Frank Hellman, I got to give him some thumbs up. He's usually the first guy to catch it on Patreon. If I mess up on something, he's like, dude, you didn't show this part, or you this part. Whoa, what did you mean to say that? And I'll go back and watch it. It's like, uh-oh. And you just don't think of those things when you're trying to get the videos done and everything. So I'll sit on it for a while, but it can. I mean, I've got 750 videos, and probably 600 of them are all stored on the computer. I've got 2 hard drives, and I've got an external with everything on it. Raw footage, I don't usually keep it after a couple weeks. I'll delete it because it will start to take up that space, and I don't want to have to go buy a bunch of hard drives. Now, I'm running on stuff that I purchased 4 years ago, so I've got 1, 2 terabyte hard drives, but you can get yourself a nice big 8 terabyte, and you're going to be good for indefinitely. Of course, those hard drives can fail at some point or another, even if they're solid state, but you should get by for a pretty good, make that investment, get the big hard drive right away, and then you can you can start filming as much as you want. So now, since I'm using free software, Windows Movie Maker, it's not very forgiving. So what I've tried to do when I'm editing is I'll delete the original, or I'll do a save as, and I'll delete the original raw footage. So I chop the beginning, I chop the end, I add captions, blah 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 blah, and then I delete the original, and to save space. And then I go back and I notice I fat finger stuff. And you can't go back in and undo the caption after you save it. You can only do it while it's at. So I'm going to get better software, but I need software that lets me go back in there after I save it and delete the caption. Because to give you an example, I just did this coffee video. The ending, I put a caption and now onto Caliber Corner, right? Dot. Well, when I first typed it, and now on to corner. Squib's going out on the corner now. We're going to discuss corpses on corner.
Squib. Question. How do you do that text in Movie Maker? I've never been able to do that.
You go into home up there in the upper left hand, and then you move over to caption. It's under title and above credits. Before you get to your screen animations here or whatever it is. So it says caption, you type caption, or you click on caption, and then it gives you the option to select your font size, your color, all that stuff.
All right.
I'm going to Movie Maker because I've been trying to figure that out.
I'll show you guys after this chats, and I'll show you the program that I use that I've been sharing with Sandhills.
And
I've got a pretty
Travis,
good one that's real easy to
yours
use.
is the one I want to get. Yours is the one I just haven't.
$50, piece
Yeah.
of cake. You can save that unpublished file and go back to it anytime and edit it. So,
Okay,
all right.
I haven't used Movie Maker.
Foos is joining us here. Foos, real quick, you want to give us an intro before we jump into our first topic? The natives are getting restless.
You're still on the intros.
We're done with the intros. We've just been talking. Imagine seeing if anybody had any comments or questions, and a few people were talking about posting some new videos and stuff. So yeah, give us a quick intro, man. What's up?
Not much. I had a match yesterday. I need to upload video.
Okay.
One first production. Even though I had a really shitty day, I started shooting on the move more, which is something I've been working on in dry firing. But because I was so worried on that, I was looking at the wrong spot to target. So I was plugging no shoots or plugging hard covers. So there's definitely a lot of stuff I need to work on in live fire.
Okay.
But dry fire is going good, and all this is for USPSA. Ammo ran flawless like normal. I mean, it's just boringly unreliable. It was exactly what you want out of ammo. So sports shooters ammunition. Yep.
Do check it out. Get over to Facebook, and if you want to place an order with Foos, he'll give you get really good prices on the ammo. I mean, I've run a couple hundred rounds already, not have any problems with it, and I've got family members that are testing it out too, and they're having no issues with it whatsoever. So it's solid, and like I said, you're going to be the person I purchase from in the future. So yeah,
yeah, I got 125 grain 9mm, and I picked up some 147. So I'm going to be getting a load for that, and I don't have pricing on that yet.
Okay.
The 125 grain is $9 a box of 50 plus shipping.
Okay.
So it usually comes out for $1,220-ish with shipping. And I am going to be heading to Tulsa Gun Show. If you guys want bulk orders there, awesome. It'll be $170 for 1,000 if you want a bulk bag. So. And the difference between the box, the bag is actually the cost of the box. So,
okay. Yeah. Sweet. All right, let's jump into the first topic here. So again, these are always most of the time they're viewer requested topics, and this popped up actually in the chat before we were done a week or two ago. Can we talk about 300 Blackout? So I'm trying to think about the best way to approach this. And one thing I was thinking about is a lot of people that go 300 Blackout, 300 AAC, they're thinking about going with something possibly shorter barrel, CQB. So I thought, well, let's just discuss this for a little bit. If you guys were in the market for either like an AR or AK patterned pistol or carbine, and you could choose between 5.56 or 300 Blackout or 9mm for home defense, what would be the best way to go? What would you guys recommend?
So think about this. And, whenever you start going 300 Blackout, you start thinking heavy, long bullet, 220, 230 grain pill. So you start thinking, okay, what is that accustomed, or what is that same as?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what you're doing is you're shooting a 45 ACP with a different shape projectile and 30 rounds in your magazine. That's basically what you're doing. It's not a bad idea.
The 300 Blackout. What's that, guys? Go ahead.
I was just saying that was a pretty accurate description.
You have a 45 ACP with 30 round mags. That's basically what because 300 Blackout. If you want to go supersonic, go AK. Go 7.62 39. It's cheaper. It's a better round for that.
I guess here's where I'm making a mistake on this discussion. I left out 7.62 by 39 because I was just thinking specifically AR pattern rifles, but we're seeing a lot of other models popping up in 9mm. We got Kalashnikov has got one that's out there. PSA, once they get their kinks worked out of their AK pattern 9mm, get that all taken care of. That looks like a pretty cool option. But I was thinking, I guess if we want to go into AK pattern, we can go that route too. So for home defense, what would be your ideal setup? Anybody in the panel, feel free to chime in. If you were going to go this route, would you stick with your 16-inch carbine? Would you go with a 10.5-inch barrel, 8.5-inch barrel? What are some of the advantages and disadvantages in all the calibers? What do you guys think?
So 300 Blackout, that is optimized for a short barrel
Mm-hmm.
with a short gas tube. So I would do, well, I mean, if I had a rifle, of course, I'd probably go pinned and welded, 14.5-inch barrel with a muzzle. If it was a pistol, I would do 7-inch barrel.
Now, Scott P79 is saying the PSA also makes the 7.62 by 39 ARs. Yeah, that's always an option too. I was really interested in one of the ones from Bear Creek Arsenal. I just wanted something a little bit shorter for home defense. I mean, if you want to talk about,
well, what one issue you have with 7.62 by 39? Sorry to keep interrupting you.
No, it's all good. No,
is with that round in an AR platform, it's the magazine, it's the reliable feeding from the magazine. That is where you have issues in an AR pattern 7.62-39.
Does Magpul make a 7.62 by 39 magazine for an AR pattern rifle?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I've seen the steel ones that they always advertise for, and it kind of looks like a hybrid, AR-15, AK-47 kind of curve to it. So I was kind of curious about that. I was thinking maybe if they made some sort of a follower you could get for me, maybe you'd have less issues. But no, we've talked about this. We've got a few people out there on the gun channel side too that own those, that have those AR-47s, I guess you could call them, or is that what we could call them technically? That run that 7.62 by 39 with no problems. And sometimes you got to tweak the gun a little bit. I know with the Bear Creek ones, guys are talking about having to change out the firing pin because they have problems with it not striking it hard enough to make the rounds go off. So that's something that a lot of guys have to upgrade also. But for home defense, and I guess part of this kind of comes back to me too. I'd love to pick up a 300 Blackout, AR pistol, right? Thinking maybe 8. What do you need? 8.5-inch barrel to fully burn the powder for 300 Blackout?
No. So most subsonic 300 Blackout, you're running a pistol powder. So usually 4 or 5 inches is usually all you need.
Because I've seen some 7.5-inch barrel. I mean, I think you definitely would want to train with that because that's a substantially shorter rifle than what you might be used to, especially if you're going to be moving around a house or going to be training with it. You'd want to make sure that you're careful with that short of a barrel too. You don't have a lot of room up there in the front for air. It's not like a nice big carbine where you can just rest your hand on it and take your time,
So what some people have done, like a guy that I shoot USPSA with, granted, this is 9mm, but he has an SBR. He has I think he has a 6 or 7-inch barrel, and then he has a 13-inch rail on his gun, so just for his arm, his hand. And what he does is he has a piece of Kydex wrapped on the inside of his handguard to keep the blast away from his hand.
Okay,
and it's enough for 9mm. I wouldn't do it for 5.56.
So he's got a longer handguard than he has a barrel.
Yes.
He's putting his hand out in front of the barrel on his handguard.
Yes.
I can't recommend that personally. I don't know. Is that?
Yes, I don't recommend it. It works for him. He has Kydex around it, so he doesn't.
Completely sealed. You don't have to worry about that, the pressure or the heat or any of the blast affecting your hands or wrists. Okay. Okay.
Right.
I've seen some lengthy rails that have the flash, or not the flash can on the front of it that they screw on that sticks out the front. I don't know. Wow.
It was interesting. He was blasting the crap out of his hand. He started wearing gloves, and then he just started wrapping Kydex on the inside of it. So it does well with 9mm.
Okay.
It would be interesting to see how it would do with a 300 Blackout. 5.56. There's too much pressure. You'd blow your.
I wouldn't even. Let's stick with conventional barrel in front of the handguard designs for our recommendations to people.
I'm not saying recommendation. I'm just saying it is a possible thing that could be done.
Sure.
Of course, anything firearm, use your own noggin, and if it produces a bunch of gas, don't do it.
He's got no easy possibility to suppress that then, does he?
Oh, no, he does it just for USPSA.
Oh, okay. I got you. Because I'm almost thinking, if you want to go the short barrel 300 Blackout route, you can also easily get yourself your suppressor on the end if you're, if you can have in the state that you live in and get your tax stamp and all that fun stuff. That would be a really nice setup. Because if you're going to be thinking about using 300 or any firearm within the house, man, for home defense, I would hope you'd have a suppressor on it, or I mean, who's going to have time to put on ear pro when you got a home invasion? But man, you light up your 5.56 in the house, you're going to have some serious hearing issues afterwards. You know.
So one thing I do have is right next to my bed, I have, of course, my night gun with a weapon mount flashlight, and right next to that, I have my ear pro. If I could get to my gun, that's the first thing I want to get to. If I have time, ear pro is going on and the electronic, so I will be able to hear around the house, because I had a negligent discharge in my house many years ago. I think I was like 14 or something like that, and my ears were ringing for about 3 or 4 days. And that was a 9mm, and just. If I could grab earmuffs, I will go earmuffs.
Yeah. Now, we've also got some recommendations out here. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. Rolling Trip is talking about having a suppressed and braced CZ Scorpion Evo. Mm-hmm. Not a bad option. X-Star has got a budget PDW. It's kind of a polymer steel. They make a 9mm. They also make a 10mm. They got a 10mm that's coming out. I think it's like I don't know what they cost, $300 or something like that. As an option for home defense. You know, High Point's got their 9mm carbine, also the 40, 45, 10mm. So you've got a lot of options. That 10mm High Point carbine would be something to consider too, because you can pick those up for, I want to say around $300, if not less, and they are threaded for a suppressor. So that'd be an interesting setup too for your home. Again, not to go all budget and stuff, but if you wanted to really get into it on the cheap, of course, you can pick yourself up a 300 Blackout AR pistol from PSA for what, $350, $375, maybe somewhere around there. We're not talking with optics or magazines or anything like that, but yeah.
I feel that unless you've got a mansion, or unless you think that you're going to be outside shooting at critters because you live out in the country and your home defense isn't just against the 2-legged, it's against the 4-legged,
sure, that
having a rifle caliber is kind of overkill. I shouldn't even say overkill. That's kind of inappropriate. It's more like over penetration, overpowered, the confined space. So for me, now if somebody else wants to, that's fine. It's your house. Do what you want. I don't live in your situation. But for the size of my house and the fact that I'm in a neighborhood, I'm assembling 2 pistol caliber carbines this year. They're from New Frontier Armory. One's going to be in 45 ACP and the other's going to be in 40 Smith & Wesson. Mm-hmm. And if I want to use those for home defense, I'm probably going to hand load my own frangible ammunition for it. And with the pistol rounds, they can put down a threat, but I'm not really too worried about it. They at close range, they're going to penetrate drywall and wood studs, but they're not going to go through my house into the neighbor's house. I'm not worried about that. So depending on your living arrangement, I'm just not one to suggest a rifle caliber. Now the 9mm was included in there, and I know some people say, well, why not just use 9? It'll work just fine. It's cheaper, blah. And you're right. Yeah, and 9mm is good for that sort of thing. I think for home defense, if you're going to use an AR style platform, talking about 300 Blackout or 5.56s or even 7.62 by 39, it's just, for me, it's not an option. They make plenty of good pistol caliber carbines, and I'm really interested in seeing how well these New Frontier Armory guns work out. So,
and that's something else we should recommend too. Over penetration with the rifle round. If you're in an apartment, I don't know. I mean, I would never say don't buy a gun, but you really got to take into consideration if you fire and that bullet goes through your target and goes through the wall or the door and the next wall and the next wall, and you're in a apartment complex, maybe the pistol caliber, defensive carbine is the way to go. Frangible ammunition, hollow point ammunition, certainly not ball ammunition. Personally, that would be my push, because there's so many good pistol caliber carbines out there, or you can do like what Squib's doing, where you can build your own and not have to worry about it. Some advantages of it might be maybe a little more stability versus just say a pistol itself, the ability to run it suppressed. I don't know. I mean, that's got me thinking. I mean, I live in a neighborhood. We do have a brick house. I don't know if that necessarily means anything if you're firing your rounds. But that temptation is always there to want to pick one of these up because they are relatively inexpensive anymore. The fact that you can pick up one of these, pistol caliber carbines or 300 Blackout pistol for about the same price as a handgun is something that's really been kind of pushing me. And now that I've gotten over the hump of picking up some decent optics and a reloading press, I'm now thinking maybe this is something to look at. So Squib, I'd be interested to see how those run. Yeah.
My thoughts are quite a bit different here. The only reason I use a pistol is because I have pistol in my hand so often. I'm more comfortable with the pistol than I am with the rifle.
Sure.
But with that said, is if I could get to my closet, I have a rifle ready to go there. I also have a shotgun ready to go there.
Yeah.
So I would rather have I live in a small town. I have, the layout of my house. You also have to look at that. So my bedroom is up on the second story. There's one way up, one way down. And if someone would be coming up there, I'd be shooting downstairs through the living room into the ground. If I happen to sail over someone's head, it would go outside and go into a garage next to me. I would still use my rifle over a pistol because pistol rounds will go through walls better than a high-speed 5.56 round.
Yeah, those are
I disagree. I disagree completely. I'm not saying a pistol round will not penetrate a wall. I've watched a 5.56 go through a damn telephone pole, dude.
Okay, that's.
And here's the thing. Okay, I don't know who the expert guy is that everybody parrots that says your pistol is to fight to get to your rifle. No, it isn't. No, I don't know. This guy obviously didn't serve a day in the military. If he did, I'm wondering what he did for a living. The handgun serves a certain function, a rifle serves a certain function. Overall, for a lot of things you need to do, a rifle or a shotgun will do the job. However, everything's got sort of it's situational specific. Foos, for where you live and for what you do and for how many people are in your house and everything else, that rifle might be just fine. And if all I've got is a rifle, I'm going to use that versus, a blunt stick to defend my home. But I think you've got to really look at everybody's situation. There's a certain reason that you have a handgun. There's a certain reason you have a rifle. Overall, though, that rifle will cover a lot of bases. If somebody says, well, I need a rifle because it'll shoot 500 yards, but they don't have any targets in their area that are over 100 yards, it's kind of a wasted effort. But on the other hand, for the people who say, well, you can't do a tactical entry with a 20-inch barrel rifle. Yes, you can. I've done a tactical entry with a machine gun. Now, is it my first choice? No, it's definitely not. But, everybody's SBR, SBS, pistol, this and that, and everybody wants the short stuff because it looks cool and they think they need something. So when you have a short rifle or short carbine or short barrel rifle, something like that, that's really good for inside of a vehicle, honestly. That's really where it's good. It's not so much getting down a hallway or kicking in a door or protecting your domicile or stuff like that. I mean, doing a tactical entry with a smaller weapon is a lot easier if the space is confined enough. If you're doing a tactical entry into a factory, no, that handgun is not going to be as effective as, say, a rifle. But if you're doing a tactical entry into a home, the same thing. If you're fighting your way out or you're trying to defend it, it has different advantages. So I'm not saying don't ever use a rifle, or a rifle isn't necessarily a good all-purpose. I mean, it just there are things a handgun cannot do that a rifle can, and that rifle can work in that short distance as well. But you run into some other issues with that rifle at short distance. I think at the end of the day, everybody's got to find out what works best for their situation.
So here's what Sean Ponnery says here. He says, oh my God, do we just basically work our way to conclude that the best home defense gun is the new Panzer Arms Bullpup 12 gauge with triple-aught buck?
Here's the deal.
That'll work.
For me.
Yeah.
I do not want anything that requires me to use both hands to control it for defending my house.
Well, now you got to take into consideration light. If it's nighttime, or are you going to have a weapon mounted? You're going to have weapon on a light on your weapon, or are you going to want to keep your pistol so you can actuate a flashlight? I
don't have a light on a gun either because I don't have to point the gun where I want to look.
Yeah. So it's really hard to
hold on. So light does not go in a straight line. You could light up an area without having the pistol pointed anywhere remotely close to someone.
One thing
you could, but you wouldn't.
One thing I've
Most
never
people
understood.
naturally pointed their flashlight at what they want to see.
I've never understood this concept. Unless you're outside, turn on the freaking light switch. The brighter you make the house on the inside, the more advantage you have as the homeowner. Because when the lights come on, 9 out of 10 burglars just bail.
I think it's the idea.
I mean, nobody's a ninja sneaking around the house going to get the drop on somebody, especially if it's an armed home invasion. Turn on the lights, and that'll run them out. If not, then you've got your firearm, but have a flashlight handy just in case.
Problem.
Unless you're defending yourself outside and you don't have floodlights outside, then the flashlight is to get you to your light switches.
The problem is my light switch is across my living room. So I would have to cross the living room to turn it on.
And a bright light will get you there, sure.
And at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, wherever you just first wake up, and you flip that light on, your eyes are going to be hurting. If you turn a flashlight on, it's not going to be nearly as bad.
Depends on the lumens, though, because you can
depends on how bright your light is.
You got 800, 900 lumen and all 4 white walls, man. That glare is going to get you just as bad as the person you're now. You're going to get them worse with that light's going to overpower that. I think it's probably maybe the idea of getting the jump on somebody or lighting up your target.
Here's another thing too, and I've obviously I'm not law enforcement. I'm not military. I've never breached a building. I've never breached a room, but I do know that the people that toss flashbangs in, the light is just as bright and the noise is just as loud for them, but they know it's coming. You can.
No, you tossed a flashbang in on the other side of the wall, man.
Yeah, then
you kind of hang around the corner and just
bang.
toss it in through the window or the doorway. After you kick in that door, we didn't toss in flash, we tossed in concussion grenades. Then we stuck the rifles through the doors and or the machine gun and just shot them around the corner where we're behind, cover. Well, everybody's dead if you toss in a concussion grenade, but you just shoot in there for good measure. But now we're getting a little bit too far out for home defense. I don't recommend pulling a grenade out of your safe if you have one and throwing it in the living room to kill the bad guy. That would be really. I don't think second call defense would cover that.
I want to call this a Caliber Call of Duty corner. Is what we're going to C cubed is what we're going to call the discussion from here on out. So that's when I call in an airstrike. I usually run out of the house and just use my infrared sensor and point at a target. Oh man,
Hills was making a good point about turning the lights on, because if it's nighttime and most of your neighbors are used to, if you have neighbors, are used to seeing your lights go out at 9 and come back on at 6. Well, at 11 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, if they notice that your house is all lit up, they're going to start paying attention. Why are the lights on in the middle of the night over there?
Well, they'll sleep too.
You're already going to want those lights on. If you actually have your handgun or whatever firearm in use, in hand, and you're investigating something, and heaven forbid somebody actually is in your house, then you're going to call the police at some point. And you want as much light as you can so they can identify who's whom. There's all kinds of advantages to flipping that light switch on that I think they outweigh the fact that I'm groggy and it's going to be bright.
Yeah. And all right, so back to the idea of the gun. I can't not make an honest recommendation to somebody outright. You've got to set up your whatever you want to do for that CQB firearm. You're going to have to go with whatever's going to work best for you, your housing situation, your family situation, density of the population around you. I guess to me, if you're going to do anything, if I was going to put something out there, I would go just, say 8.5 inch, 300 Blackout AR, either SBR or pistol. If you want to go that route, you're going to have it suppressed. You're going to protect your hearing as much as you can. But again, you got to worry about that round with overpenetration. So it just kind of depends on your situation. So, I mean, either way, maybe the 9mm carbine would be the better way to go too. There was some hollow point ammunition through it or frangible, but yeah.
Or just use the gun you're most comfortable with.
Yeah, that works too. I mean, they're all fun options to train and take to the range and enjoy.
Right.
But for somebody who's getting serious because they want to buy it, because they want to use it as a home defense weapon, you've just got to think about, and again, we would never encourage anybody to not buy a gun, but you got to just think, if you're going to use it for that application, what are the consequences of where the bullet's going to go after you fire?
Well, you use your firearm, get custom with your used to your firearm, so where you could the dimensions of your house to where you can basically point shoot any of those. So and basically get custom with your gun, get good enough with your skills that if something needs to happen, the round, the only way around is going to escape your house if it is through a body.
Yeah. All right. I think we've got this topic covered. All right. So moving on, just in time. Well, I guess we've missed it by a week now. For the cold weather vortex, which can come back at any time. Recommendations for cold weather gear. And I wish AWAG was here because he had some boot recommendations. What do you guys do to stay warm in the wintertime? For those that live in an area where it gets cold, if you want to go, what do you recommend for bundling up? What works for you if you want to go hunting or to the range? What do you guys do to stay warm?
Very efficient furnace.
Okay, but when you're outside?
I ain't going outside if I can avoid it.
Well, the question is, what should you wear if you want to go to the range or go on a deer hunt? What works best for you to stay warm? What do you guys have out there? Do you use any of these like new high-tech fibers and coats and layers, or do you go keep it traditional? What works best for you guys? Honest
to God, Carhartt insulated apparel works as well as anything I've ever seen.
Now it might be heavy. Okay, it might be a little bit cumbersome compared to some of the newer, high tech mini, thin layer stuff that's out there. But I do agree with you completely, Tony. That's actually the route that I go. I have a couple different brands that I purchase. I don't have all Carhartt because it's pricey. But so Tony, what are you talking? You talking about like some coveralls, or are you talking about some bib overalls? What?
I do bib and a coat because I like to bend over on occasion, and coveralls are worse than bibs about letting you do that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you guys also speak on the topic before I put my own point in there. What do you guys, Squib, what about you, man? What do you do to stay warmer? What do you guys have? And you just keep it traditional, just wool socks and boots and bundle up, or what do you guys usually do?
Kind of. I can say this, on those sub-zero days that you're talking about where nobody goes to range, it is awesome because you have the range yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've done this before, and the range master's there, and it's pretty much you're the only one here. Just turn around, signal me through the window in the tower to let me know that you're going to do a change. Take the chain down, go down, change your own target. Don't have to get on the megaphone every 15 minutes and say fire off what you have loaded, fire off what you have, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't have to wait on anybody. Nobody has to wait on me. So in that case, if I want to fire a couple mags and do a change, I'm walking. I'm getting the blood flowing, as opposed to just standing still for 20 minutes straight, freezing. I'll layer up. I'll put on maybe a thermal, a T-shirt, a long sleeve T-shirt, and then my coat, and then make some thermals underneath my jeans, and then 2 pairs of socks. And the heaviest boots I've got are 600 grams, I think, of Thinsulate. I need to get something heavier, but that's okay when you're moving around. That's absolutely okay if you're moving around enough. But when you're just standing still and you got the wind on you, that's not good. Now, I got that Russian Ushanka, and you can undo the flaps and have that come down and cover your ears, and that will keep your head warm. But if the wind is blowing, those flaps just flop around like a dog's ears, so that doesn't really work. So a really decent watch cap might be some good advice. I haven't used hand warmers or anything like that at the range, but if I'm there too long where I'm just standing still, the shooting stations we have are really confined. So if I cannot move around, I might just leave, or I might just secure the weapons and just walk back and forth up and down the range and just get the blood flowing. But I've found that just being able to move around is the best thing that I've been able to use for staying warm.
Yeah, it can be especially tough. Say you're sitting up in a deer stand, or you're sitting, for hours and hours and hours. It can get really, really cold. Layers was the big recommendation coming from the YouTube chat. Also, the Hot Hands hand warmers. I did buy a used Under Armour hunting coat. And it does have pouches built into it for the hot hand warmers to keep your core warm. It has 4 pouches in it, which is kind of cool. You can drop the hand warmers in there for your front and your back, and it keeps you warm on your core. And it also has the pouches in the pockets too to put the hand warmers, which is really sweet. I think that's important. I do have, you're talking about the watch cap. I do have the Carhartt watch cap, stocking cap. It's like $12. And I mean, you can really start to drop some serious change into some of these high-tech thermal, and I don't doubt they work. I mean, I'm sure that these things are, I'm sure, you got like expedition people that bust the stuff in and test it and use it and stuff. Because if something, you say you spend $500 on a coat, $400 on a coat, it best to work, and if it doesn't, I don't think people would buy it. So
the reason I recommend the watch cap or the beanie is because you can pull it down over your ears. But depending on what kind of hearing protection you've got, it doesn't interfere. If you've got muffs, and you're wearing them over top of your beanie, it's flexible enough that it doesn't get in the way. Whereas like a cap, like a baseball cap, that'll keep your head somewhat warm, but that might get in the way a little bit. The Ushanka is definitely no good for hearing protection unless you've got ear plugs. But you're going to lose a lot of heat through your head, so you want to try to keep that covered. But you just have to take into account that you're going to have hearing protection on, and if you're leaned up against the stock, that. Just the more obstructions you make, the harder it is to get the proper sight, picture, sight alignment, eye relief, all that stuff when you're using a long gun. So another thing too is gloves and glove liners. I tried out some different things for hunting, and I've got a fair. I could do better. I got a fair setup for glove liner and gloves. I'm looking to improve that, but if you can get your finger through the trigger guard to take that shot for hunting, you could use it at the range. But at the range, you're going to be doing a lot more shooting, so you might just want to leave the liners off. Whereas with hunting, you want to keep your hands warm for that one shot that you hope you can get to take. So.
No, a lot of it over in the gun channel side, they're mentioning layers are very important. Daniel Pfeiffer says, what is it? Biggest mistake he ever made was overly insulated boots, especially if you're going to do a lot of walking and hiding. I think I've got 800-gram Thinsulate boots, and they are too hot for 40 degrees on up, 45 degrees on up. Sandhills, you're talking about breathability being important. Breathability is key. How so? What do you look for fabrics when you're buying stuff, or what kind of material do you prefer to use for cold weather?
Well, sometimes it's kind of hard because I don't just want to say that the more expensive it is, the better it is.
Oh yeah, certainly.
We all know that's not necessarily the truth, but at the same time, if you're shopping for your hunting gear at Walmart or Target or whatever, then you should expect that it's probably not going to be as high performance as something maybe from Under Armour or Sitka or maybe
Columbia or one of those.
Redhead or Cabela's or something like that. There's a reason why some of this stuff costs more. Sometimes, it's the label sewn into the back, but a lot of the time it's because of like Columbia. They're expensive, but they're warm for their weight.
Yeah.
So you also have to think, yes, technology is progressing at a pretty rapid rate. Like, I do whenever I do go outside. Granted, I'm not nearly as cold as what you guys are in Nebraska.
Yeah.
But I am outside in, 10, 15, 20 degree weather. And the stuff you buy at Walmart, yes, it may not be as performing as the new Under Armour or new Columbia, but it's as performing as what those brands were 2 and 3 years ago. So
I'm definitely not saying don't go to Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a guy that has, I've got Columbia and Danner taste and a Walmart paycheck.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that as opposed to going to Walmart, if you have a local farm and home store in your area, go there.
So
true.
Your first layer against your skin should always be something that wicks moisture away from your body. Because if you do start to sweat, you want that away from your body as quickly as possible. So your first layer, maybe 2, something that wicks it away from your body. And then you start insulation there.
I would say if you're going to spend any money at all, it should be on that base layer. Try the high tech stuff, try the Under Armour stuff, or try anything that's got moisture wicking, or you can spend, What's
Hey,
that?
the best.
So think about this. All these marathon runners and stuff that are out there in, 10, 15, 30 degree, whatever. Yes, their body's creating a lot of energy, but if they, if they don't get all that moisture away from their skin will freeze. So I look into that and see what style they're wearing. Of course, I don't go and pay $100 or whatever for a pair of leggings. But last time I went out to the cold, I went ahead and I went to Walmart, got the Russell stuff. It's not awesome. It's decent, $25-$30. It's a good legging, good first moisture, first skin protectant.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, back in the day when I used to go out hunting a lot, when it was really cold at night, the best base layer I ever seen was a set of woolen or flannel one-piece long johns. Woolen's definitely the best, but some people can't tolerate that.
Well, the thing that not a lot of people remember anymore, because we've gotten away from wool because it itches. If you wear something that's, 100% wool or the highest wool content you can, especially socks, or anything made out of silk. Wool and silk are two fabrics that maintain their insulating qualities even when they're wet.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why so many people back at the, a long time ago now, and not as many people anymore wear wool underwear. Again, it itches, but it's worth its weight in gold when it comes to cold weather. Socks are very important. Socks are overlooked by almost everybody. But if you're wearing cotton socks and your feet get sweaty, then that's
you're SOL. You also you get used to whatever fabric is next to your skin.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times you put on a new whatever, like let's say you put on a new shirt and it doesn't quite feel right, and then 15 minutes later you don't even realize it. With wool, you will get used to it if you need to. The human body gets used to so much that and it adapts so well that you can get used to damn near anything.
Once you get out in the element, you start doing what you're going to do, whether it's just going to the range or sitting in the deer stand or walking out through the woods or whatnot. Eventually you won't even realize it. All you're going to know is that you're warm, and that's what's most important.
And now you could always, there's so many synthetic blends out there. Like in the winter, I have a very bad issue where my feet will be cold, yet be sweating. So in the winter at work or anything like that, I have a wool blend. So, I think it's I can't remember what the other blend is, but the other blend helps pull moisture from my feet as well as the wool to help keep them warm. So I do that at work. I do it around my house. I have
that's polyester.
I have a couple pairs of that stuff that I wear inside my shoes whenever I'm on the range. It's little stuff like that you have to try to keep your skin dry yet warm.
And kind of look at the temperature ratings for some of this gear so that you can see do you want to go get the 1,000-gram Thinsulate boots when your lowest temperature might be 40 degrees or 50 degrees? Like, oh, stay warm. Man, you're just going to be sweating. You really kind of want to learn to layer for the conditions you're going to be in. For us, we're talking 0 or sub-freezing.
A lot of it, too, depends on your style of hunting. If you're primarily sitting in a stand, whether you're up in a tree or on the ground, whatever, then you want, higher insulating value, more Thinsulate or what have you in your boots, in your coveralls or whatever you've got, bibs. Just because you're not moving around, your body's not generating as much heat, so you've got to hold what you are making. Whether if you're walking around, those 800-gram Thinsulate boots, they'll make your feet hot if you're actually out walking and moving a lot.
Your outside layer should be a really good wind protectant.
Yeah, I was going to say coats was another part of the discussion I wanted to get into. I think Carhartt does make camouflage also. I love my Carhartt coat. I wear it every day to school. It's an all conditions coat. I stay warm in it, even in the coldest stuff. So long as I layer, it's insulated.
The typical Carhartt ain't great to wear out in deer season because it's Bambi colored.
But you can get different shades.
It also depends on if you have to wear orange in your state.
If it doesn't matter. Yeah.
I used to ride motorcycles, and with motorcycles, a lot of people wear frog togs as the outer layer because it is wind and rain repellent. It is extremely good if you were just going to be sitting there.
They're thin and lightweight too, isn't it?
Yes, and they breathe. So use that on your outside. It will keep you. It'll cut down the wind. It'll keep you drier from any rain or anything or snow that falls on you. And
I definitely will 100% agree with what you said earlier too. When you go to Walmart, you're buying the Russell athletic stuff. Even every day at work, I'm wearing, instead of a cotton T-shirt underneath my work shirt, it's always one of those the Russell brand, whatever. It's like dry fit, or whatever the material is.
And every match you see me, my shirt is always that stuff.
I prefer to wear that kind of fabric just because I sweat easy. And so I always, even in the wintertime, I need something that wicks moisture away. And so that is always what I have underneath whatever shirt I wear to work, or, if I'm hunting or just out and about, whatever. Also, I had mentioned earlier silk. Those of you out in the western states, or those of you that have, cowboys around your area, you've probably seen these, but you can get a silk, basically a bandana. They call it a wild rag. And guys wear these around their necks, to kind of help keep the air from getting down in their shirt collar or something. You can pull it up over your face. And again, this is something that you don't need a lot of thickness there to keep the wind and the cold off your nose, off your face. You can breathe through it. And even if you've got icicles forming on the outside of it, again, it gets wet, it still holds the heat. And silk is good for that. If it's 100% silk and not acetate. The cheap ones are synthetic and they don't work right.
I'll put out something too to consider, and that's taking care of the appendages is the important part.
Yeah.
Your hands, your feet, your ears,
and your nose.
Yeah,
the body part will be a lot easier to deal with than the digits and toes and whatnot. So.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but you lose most of your heat through your head and your feet. Is that correct?
I've heard the head, not the feet, but
I've heard that for a second.
You could, yeah.
But the head's easy.
But yeah, I think we all can probably agree, those of us that have ever been in cold weather at any point, when your feet get cold, you're done. Mm-hmm. There's just nothing will ruin whatever you're doing at the time. Nothing will ruin it better. Yeah. Whether you're hunting, watching a sports game, whatever. Once your feet are cold, then it gets miserable
real quick.
Other things that I point out there is put your feet on things that are kind of insulated when you're out and about. Like if you're sitting in a tree stand, grab some freaking leaves or a blanket or something, set your feet on. Don't set it on cold steel tree stand or a puddle of ice.
Don't they make boots that take the hot hand warmers? They have pouches in them.
Yeah, they do.
I know I've seen electric boots too that are rechargeable that'll keep your feet warm. Yeah.
Those are a great idea for a few minutes, but you have to agitate them ever so often to keep them working.
Depends. If they're you can get battery powered insoles. They're expensive. They're usually about $120. But if you've got a problem where your feet are always cold, then it might be worth it.
There you go, Foos. You can plug in your boots at your lunch break.
You can take $50 boots and put $120 insoles in them, and it's still going to be less than that $300 pair of Danners that I might have been looking at the other day.
Yeah. Man, there's all these different, and again, with the boots, I'd recommend trying them on in the store before you order them online. I don't have very good luck with buying shoes online or boots. I think you'd want to go to the store, put them on, see how they feel, see if you're going to have to buy insoles. You need to buy half a size bigger. You definitely, that's when it's definitely a good idea to go to, say, your Cabela's or Bass Pro or just your local mom and pop outfitters, go there and pick up your, especially boots, man. That's something where you want to do it the right way. Cause you can spend a lot of money on your boots. You can spend whatever you want,
And so you could always take layers off. You can't put any more on. I always have layers because if you're like, oh, I'm going to have, my Under Armour shirt and then just a coat. Well, that may be awesome if you're sitting, but you start walking and you get hot, you have nothing to take off to stay warm. So, like
Travis has seen what I wear when I go hunting. I've got a t-shirt, and then I throw an Under Armour hoodie, so I've got 2 layers that wick right there. And I will say there's a huge difference I've noticed in the moisture wicking between like an Under Armour hoodie and the Russell Athletic hoodie from Walmart.
Absolutely.
There is a huge difference because my Russell ones get sweaty. Even though they fit me better, the Under Armour works better when I am moving around. And then I throw on a coat that's a 3-in-1. And then, of course, the orange vest goes on top of that. But, I mean, I agree. The more layers that you can comfortably wear and move around in, the better off you're going to be.
And having 4 or 5 thin layers is a lot better than one thick. Like, whenever last weekend, we started shooting, it was like 20-some-odd degrees. Whenever, between runs, I had 5 layers on. Whenever I was actually running, I had 2. But
definitely.
The more air spaces you can create, the better insulated you'll be because trapped air is what always makes that insulation.
Yeah. Don't you guys get to throw a Tahoe on over top of your outer jacket too?
Sometimes. Depends on if we have to walk home or not.
There's an interesting point that's made that I don't want to see glossed over. Insulation, in many cases, does not work efficiently if it's compressed.
Mm-hmm.
So buying tight-fitting boots and not having any room for the socks to expand defeats the purpose.
Well, and you also brought up a point too there where if you're wearing thick hunting socks, then plan accordingly when you get your boots. If you're buying boots in the summertime or when hunting stuff goes on clearance, after the hunting season, and you're just wearing your normal, cotton socks or whatever you typically wear, and you try your boots on and you get them to where they fit snug, because if you're walking around, you want shoes obviously that fit kind of snug. You don't want them moving around. That's how you get blisters. Mm-hmm. But keep in mind, come hunting season, you may be throwing on either an extra sock or a thick sock. So then all of a sudden your feet get pinched. And again, feet aren't comfortable. Trip is ruined.
Oh yeah, especially if you got to do if you're going to do any lengthy walking at all. It's over rough terrain. It might not necessarily be completely flat where you are going up and down hills and rocks and through woods and sticks and stuff like that. You'd want, definitely. Cool. So, hopefully we answered the question. Recommendations for cold weather gear. There's a lot of options out there, and I think we could safely say that if you buy into some of the brands like, say, Under Armour or maybe Columbia for their hunting lines, read some of the reviews, try the stuff out.
Some of the stuff from Redhead and Cabela's isn't super, super expensive, and it's still good quality. Another thing you want to make sure of is, and again, this all depends on the kind of hunting you're going to do, but waterproof never hurts. Waterproof plus breathability. Yeah. But if you're deer hunting and you have to kneel down in the snow for an extended time, field dressing a deer, again, you don't want your knees getting all soaked up with water or something, or whatever could happen. Sometimes you have to shoot a deer in a cornfield, which are typically full of sambers. So you want something kind of tough there too. That's going to be, like Carhartt stuff, like cotton duck is good if you've got a waterproof layer in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. You might be sitting in snow. You never know where you're going to stop and actually be sitting on something that's wet. So
Carhartts will have an added advantage of the fact that if you buy them, you'll have them for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
There ain't a lot you can do to tear up a pair of Carhartts.
Yeah, it takes a while. It wears like iron. And the best part is typically it's either brown or black. And the older it gets, the more broken in it gets. It gets nice and soft. And you get a little dirt on it. And pretty soon you've got natural camouflage. And you just kind of some earth tones.
Yes. I did buy the black coat. I also have the Carhartt actual brown duck jacket. And even when it was bitterly cold, the jacket was enough. Because wind don't go through it.
You start to feel a cold kind of make its way through, but you don't necessarily, because I wear mine every day. Yeah, it would help to have some sort of a layerless sweater underneath, or maybe a hoodie or a sweatshirt to kind of, prevent it from, because I mean, I do wear mine. I'll wear my Carhartt coat outside. And it's just the quilted insulated one. It's not their polar fleece line or whatever they make. And I do get kind of cold if it's windy and blowing snow. I mean, it can get you, but it depends on the person. We all kind of, interpret cold differently. So it just kind of depends. But I find just a sweater or some sort of a layer underneath that Carhartt, I'm good to go for a while. Yeah. I don't know.
I also just to throw one last thing out there. I've also had products before from Arctic Shield, and that's some more good stuff that it does. They don't throw a whole bunch of thinsulate and a lot of bulk in their stuff. They've got some sort of a membrane in there that just kind of reflects the heat that your body creates, and it holds it. And it's
blanket.
Pretty much, it's like a space blanket. Yeah, good point. But Arctic Shield is not cheap, but it's good stuff.
Last thing I want to say about Carhartt is that the majority of what they make is American made, and my stepdad does construction. That's all he's ever bought. Anytime he's ever had a zipper break or something fail, and this has come up in the YouTube chat over here, he has sent his stuff in, and they've sent him new coat, new bibs. He's gotten replacement. The zipper's been completely replaced on the jacket. They do take care of you, because I don't think they get a lot of returns necessarily, but it is kind of nice. I do like, they did finally move their stuff back to the US, I think maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, because they were making stuff down in Mexico, and they were losing their customer base because of it. A lot of hardworking people didn't want to buy foreign,
That's,
so they did move. Yeah.
One other good point too is not just the American made, which is awesome, but buy stuff that that the company's going to stand behind, whether it's the manufacturer or the outlet. So if you buy stuff from like a Cabela's or a Bass Pro, and I don't know these other stores, like we don't have Champions.
Oh yeah, or Academy or any of those places.
That's one of the Academy. We don't have those up here, but I'm sure they're great too. But I know that like Cabela's return policy, you can bring boots in there that it's clear that they've been worn for a couple hunting seasons, and something blew out, a sole separated from the boot or whatever, and they don't ask questions. They take it back and they replace it, because they'd rather take a little bit of hit on that pair of boots and get you coming back to their store again and again and again. But also, I mean, just find out the return policy, because some of this stuff, if you use it hard, it's made by humans. It could fail. Make sure that you're going to get it replaced. It's too expensive to have to go buy another one.
Oh, I agree. What about Bass Pros, that Redhead brand? Do they have the same kind of unconditional warranty or not?
I think so. My hunting coats it's Redhead. It's really good stuff. So
yeah.
I haven't had any. I mean, the quality is high. I haven't had any issues with it. I've never had to return stuff to Bass Pro.
Okay.
I have with Cabela's before, and they've never asked questions. They're always like, "Yep, we'll take care of you."
Yeah. Cool. Well, hopefully we gave some decent recommendations. I mean, we still have a couple more months before things start to warm up, and I know here where we are, it's supposed to get really cold the next couple of days. So, and just kind of sharing what's worked best for us. And to me, it's the insulated bib overalls and the insulated coat, one good layer underneath, good boots. You can always overdress, and then you can always lose a few layers if you need to. And that's something else I think that's important that people need to know. And we mentioned that too, that if you're getting too hot, if you don't dress warm enough, you're going to be uncomfortable. But if you overdress for the situation, you can always adjust and fix it. So, yeah.
The bibs are more... Sorry,
you go, Tony.
The bibs are a more comfortable option than full coveralls, but the full coveralls are a little warmer. Just because you don't have the air to get in underneath the coat.
Yes.
it all kind of comes back down to the layering capabilities too.
Yeah.
And whatever you're most comfortable with.
Cool.
Can I just throw out there too? This isn't really part of the clothing discussion, but if you're gonna hunt much, get yourself some sort of a backpack that you can strap on, and has the option to stow like a coat. It's got some straps or something where you can, once you take that coat off, then you can just kind of tie it up on the back of your backpack or something like that. So where you don't have to lug it around still. You don't want to, of course, you don't want to lose it or have to carry it in your hands either. So just think about that when you're layering. Have a plan for when you take these layers off. Where are they going to go?
Blue Steel is making a recommendation on the YouTube side. Check out the Patagonia Triolet, or anything else that's not made for fashion, and with Gore-Tex. Yeah, I mean, and you will spend the money, but then again, you're going to stay warm and dry, and that's all that matters. You can't put a price on that.
Natural barriers are free. If you've got bushes that you can sit up against, you might not think that a bush is going to keep you warm, but it's going to keep you a lot warmer than an open field will.
Yeah.
Or if you can, adjust your tree stand or whatever you're going to a little bit other side of the tree to stay out of some of the wind. Standing in the sunlight. If you're standing in a shaded area and you can stand over in the sunlight, that gets you considerably warmer than standing in the shaded area.
Yeah, Calaveras sums it up also. Good gear costs you hundreds of dollars, but it's worth the investment. It can make or break a hunt. And then also, like you just said, David, having some sort of shade or shelter or accommodations once you get to your hunting spot, that can also make a big difference, especially if you're dealing with like a stout north wind or, conditions that are just not favorable. Just think about where you're going to be and what you're going to need for it, No, I agree totally. I agree completely. Just even a single, nice evergreen or pine tree can make a decent windbreak for you, No, I don't disagree with you on that. All right. Last little part that we have here is our top 3 SHTF handgun recommendations. I'm just going to throw this one out there. We'll just kind of run it through 3, 2, 1. I didn't want to do a top 5. Just stick with the top 3. So if we get into a SHTF situation, these are always kind of fun to talk about. What would be the handgun that you would have and why? And I know for a lot of you, this is easy. I mean, because you already know what you would prefer. So
whatever you shoot well.
So Tony, we're going to start with you, Tony. What's your number 3? What do you shoot well, Tony? What's your number 3 choice for SHTF? What's your go-to?
I don't have 3. I only have 2.
Okay. What's your number 2?
My Smith & Wesson SD9.
Okay. That's the
number
VE.
1. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Number 1 is the Ruger Mark 22.
Okay.
People give me crap, but if it comes down to it, my first choice in SHTF is going to be 22 rimfire. Because I can carry a lot of it.
Yeah, I was going to say you could have a brick of 500 in the size of a little box, a Pop-Tart box. Basically, you've got 500 rounds, 700 rounds of ammo.
And it's really good about filling the dinner table.
True. There's a lot of flexibility there. We were talking about the 22s. Taurus has got the TX22 coming out. Your 16+1. That's really got my attention right now. That would make a nice SHTF backup. You could use that for your hunting applications, harvesting some small game for food if you needed to. So you got the SD9 VE and the Ruger Mark 22. All right, Squid, what about you? What are your top 3? I'll just see if we have any kind of champion that comes out on top here. What's your number 3, 2, and 1?
So my personal ones or just ones in general? Where are you saying? Out of my own personal collection, or
it could be that, or what would you see yourself going to if you had an opportunity, or what would be something you'd get for an SHTF situation? What would you do?
All right, in order of choice, a 1911, an M9 or 92 FS, and a high power.
Okay.
With a 44 Magnum revolver as an honorable mention.
There you go. The high power. Why the high power over, say, how many rounds are we talking at for the high power? What's the capacity?
13 in a standard mag, 10 in a reduced mag.
Okay, so 13+1.
The disadvantage to the high power is finding replacement mags might be difficult. It's not that they're not out there. It's just you don't see them a lot, but there are tons of high powers out there.
And there's a lot of clones too. I mean, you can get into some of the clones now that they're not making the high power anymore. I mean, you can get the clones for there's the T-Sauce region, I think is the one that I've talked about before. That's a neat looking gun. It is Turkish made, but if you want that clone and you don't want to drop, $800 or $900 or more for an authentic Browning, you can pick one up for, $450, $500, which would be an option. So, I mean, it is hard. It is not hard to dispute that the Browning high powers had its place in combat history and that it will work when it needs to. So I can see why you would choose that. That's definitely a solid choice. All right.
I want guns that I shoot well. I want guns that are reliable. I want guns that if I point it at something, it hits what I pointed at. I don't want something that is uncomfortable in my hand, that's snappy. I'm in SHTF. I don't care about concealment. Not really. I mean, and even then, all those three, except for the 44 Magnum, unless it's it'd be difficult to conceal the 44 Magnum revolver, even with a short barrel. But all those I could conceal if I absolutely had to for some reason. But I want something that is going to work for me. Somebody else might go, that gun's too big, that gun's too heavy. Oh, it's only got 7 rounds. It's clunky. Okay, fine. No, then you shoot your little subcompact with your, whatever it is. That's fine. But yeah, if I had to pick,
yeah, that's what you would go with. Cool. Sandhills, what about you? What are your 3?
Do I need to name specific models?
Yeah, I want you to kind of narrow down as much as you can. Well, I mean, like if you're saying 1911, you don't have to say, well, it's got to be this edition, this model, this.
Sure. I'm thinking, a 22 long rifle revolver. So to narrow it down, mini Christmas.
A Rough Rider.
I was just thinking like a Heritage or, something from Taurus, the Tracker. I believe they make the Tracker in it's like a 9 or 10 shot. So probably one of those two. Again, I'm with Tony. I mean, it's going to be something that the versatility is going to be key. I don't think we're actually going to be in danger of shooting zombies in the head. So, but if things go south and we've got to fend for ourselves, then we can keep the dinner table full. After that, I'm going to say I'll go with Ruger. Ruger GP 100 in 357.
Oh yeah,
just because of availability and versatility in ammo.
Yep.
And I mean, I like Squib's idea with the 44, but I think that for my hands, the 357 or 38 is going to be better.
Okay.
And then last but not least, I want something that is proven that if I can't clean it, it's going to run dirty, and it's probably not going to need replacement parts for a long time. I'm sticking with my Glock 19.
With parts and magazines, you would imagine readily available. I mean, in some sort of a situation, worst case scenario.
22 long rifle, 357 or 38, and 9mm, all easily attainable ammo too.
All right, cool. All right, David, what about you? What's going to work for you? What are your top 3?
Since I don't know nearly as much about firearms as the rest of you guys, I'm just going to go with what I do know, and I'm just going to pick the 3 of my firearms. And the first one, not in any necessary order, I'd go with would be my SIG P320 45 ACP. It's really smooth. The recoil, in my opinion, is not very intense. I'm pretty good with it, and it's 45 ACP. Then I would go with my Beretta APX. It's easily the fastest trigger that I've got, and the cleanest trigger out of all the guns that I got. You can, if you got to put down suppression fire, you're not going to have any problem at all if you're using the APX. And it's got 17 round magazines.
I've seen 20s now too. I think you can buy it with the 20. There's certain setups that they were advertising that have a 20 factory 20 round magazine, if I'm not mistaken. It's got kind of an extension on the bottom of it, and I'm sure you can buy extensions for it. You can buy anything you want for magazines anymore. But yeah.
Hey, as number 3, you might as well stick in that 629.
Okay.
And then my third one would be my Ruger Security 9.
Yeah.
And the reason being is it's small, it's light, and it runs like a champion.
And it's going to have kind of a form factor about the same size as a Glock 19. Now, with the Security 9, is it ammo sensitive at all? Have you run any aluminum case ammo through it at all?
I've shot everything through that.
Okay.
And the only time that I've had, I was anywhere from 3 to 5. I think it's 3, but it may be as many as 5 failure to ejects. But it's only happened in the winter, and it's only happened when I haven't cleaned my gun. And I've put probably 500 steel cases through it.
Oh God! At that point, imagine if you were just running fresh brass, or you were running aluminum case, or
everything I've put through
reloads, sport shooters ammunition reloads.
Yeah,
you did run the sport shooters ammunition through your Ruger, right?
Yeah, that and the APX. I just filled up magazines and just mag dumped, and they all
problems?
beautiful. Yeah,
awesome. Recommendation from the chat over here, Blue Steel 44 saying number 3 G17, honorable mention SIG P229 in 357 SIG, 2 HK45 compact, and number 1 HK USP 45. I've yet to fire an H&K handgun. I would love to try one. The USP is one of my favorites from back in the day. I love that SOCOM 45 model that they make also. I think it's pretty sweet. But I've not fired an H&K handgun before, a pistol, so I'm not really sure what the experience is like, but that seems to be one. A lot of recommendations coming out there, some 357 mags. And so, David, you said that Ruger, I can see myself picking up a Security 9. I mean, I know they're making them in different colors and finishes now, and they're relatively inexpensive. And I do like the fit in the hand is really, really good. I mean, in my opinion, the Security 9 fits the hand better than a G19. Now, the G19 is more slab, more basic, but that Security 9, man, you pick that thing up, it just does not, it just fits. It just, I don't know what it is. Something about it that I really do enjoy. All right, so my top 3, my number 3 is going to be, even though I've never fired it, even though I want to try it, and if it was to function and not have problems, my number 3 would be the Taurus TX22, 22 long rifle with 16+1. Looks like a really promising pistol. I'm definitely going to pick one of those up. And again, the 22, just the idea of being able to carry 2,000 or say 1,000 rounds of ammo and just 2 small bricks you could throw in a bag or box or whatnot. That alone for food harvesting in an SHTF situation would be great. My number 2 is going to be a SIG P226. Any of those variants in any caliber, I just think those are great pistols. I think I just look awesome. Myself having the 228 concealed carry model, it's been a champ. And then number 1, the G17 Gen 4 is what I have. That's just kind of my go-to. Like you, Sandhills, I mean, it can get dirty. You can beat it up. Parts availability, magazine interchangeability. It would be the G17. Not my favorite gun to shoot. Okay, and I'm not going to be a Glock fanboy here. It's not the most comfortable, and I don't find the trigger to be the best one out there. But it does run, and I've never had any hiccups with it or issues whatsoever. So that's what I would definitely recommend. So, all right.
My Glock 19 wins over your 17 because I can take your magazines and use them.
Okay.
You can't take mine.
Well, my barrel's longer than your barrel, so it produces better velocity and more energy at distance. So it's got a better
my dad's bigger than your dad.
Probably. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So. Look, and just because your dad wrestles cattle for fun doesn't mean that he's any tactical advantage over my dad. No, I'm just kidding. My dad butchers the cattle that your dad makes. So
that's right. Our dads need each other, and
they're actually allies. So I guess it doesn't really matter. So
they'd smack both of you for being stupid.
Yeah,
pretty much. My dad would be watching this right now, shaking his head like, "What in the hell is my son talking about?"
Whose kid is that anyway?
I'm not surprised he doesn't watch my podcast at all. I need to get him watching I need to bring my old man in on this one of these days and talk. He's a gun guy. So
they're Nebraska, both over on their own hangout saying, "What have we done?"
poor conservative Nebraska Schnitzel kids bromance. Oh my God. Yeah, probably. It's more of a sauerkraut thing than anything, but I'm not opposed to good schnitzel every now and then. So now if it was a strudel bromance, that right there would be something different. That would yeah.
Well, in Nebraska there ain't a girl on every corner, so Hell, there ain't a corner on every corner.
That's actually, there's not a corner on every mile, that's for sure.
There's just kind of an intersection with a gravel road and a cornfield, the majority of it. So that's, I guess you could say there's sort of a corner there. But...
See, the thing is, in Nebraska, the men are manly men, and the women are too.
That's right. That's right. And the goats fear the men. So
that's a whole different state.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Wait. All right. So anyway, I'll shut up. Okay. So we're going into a weird area. All right. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. Those are the topics. We had a little bit of fun. Again, I know people complain saying, get into the gun talk, get into the gun talk. It's, as content creators, we're passionate about what we do and we're trying to bring more people into the field. So it's always cool to talk to some of these guys that are up and coming, getting their channels going. David, I expect the nacho fries review by the end of next week, please. And then you got to pass it on to somebody else. Since I failed to do so, I want to see your take on it. I got to see the David Bowling food review. The Kingpin food review is going to be fun to watch. Just something a little bit different. You should premiere that. You should premiere it. Do it as a YouTube premiere, and we can all join in and watch it, man. That'd be awesome.
The first name that came to mind for me would be tacos and French fries.
Tacos and French fries needs to do a review of, because really the nacho fries and tacos at Taco Bell are something that tacos and French fries should review. Now, tacos and French fries has a question out there: who's winning the Super Bowl? You know what, tacos? I'm a Saints fan, so I really don't have an opinion. You know what my opinion is, and you know what I think about it, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But
those of us who refuse to watch.
I was going to say there's those that don't care, that don't watch it. I mean, I'm going to be watching my buddy's house who's from Connecticut. He's a diehard Patriots fan, so I'm going to be, polite of the audience and support him, clap along with him. But
the only thing I can say is for the 27th year in a row, there's a Cornhusker in the Super Bowl. There's one on each side of the ball, so Nebraska wins no matter what.
For those of you that don't know what a Cornhusker is, that's our Nebraska football team. Well, yeah, it was our guy that...
They haven't been as good lately as what we're used to them being. Doesn't mean people don't know who they are. Quit it.
Yeah. A lot of people say refuse to watch. Watch it for the commercials, if anything, Enjoy the commercials.
Yeah. Side note on the Super Bowl thing, I went to Walmart yesterday and bought groceries, and I never seen so many damn shopping carts just piled to the hilt with freaking chips and whatnot.
Oh yeah. It's we go to my buddy's house and they got every meat and cheese trays and nachos, and they make burgers and hot dogs and just I'm sure that people spend so much money on it.
I guess I
wasn't. Was I not supposed to call it the Super Bowl? Was I supposed to call it the big game? Is that did I make a YouTube offense there by calling it the Super Bowl? Isn't there some restriction on that? How you're not supposed to say it?
Oh yeah, the NFL. Like if as far as like the TV networks, if they use the term the Super Bowl, that's a copyright infringement.
That's an automatic. Well, I get demonetized anyway, so I could care less. But
they said that the Super Bowl is the second most food consumption day. I think the first one was Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like 4th of July, because how many people do cookouts and stuff. But yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Well, that was episode number 79. We should be back next Saturday, regular time. Although we got a lot more people watching on a Sunday morning than we do on a Saturday morning. But I don't want to step all over Never Enough Ammo's time slot, because this is about the time that he would do his this morning show, and I should probably be singing in the church choir right now anyway. So real quick, what do we got here? Yoder has a question for us. Do you set up the stage before each show, or do you leave your AR and shoddy out of the safe? No, it's here all the time. This is my basement defense gun. I leave these out. I guess I probably shouldn't say that, but no, I've got the shotgun over here in the air. I've got a home alarm system, my Google Nest system that protects the doors and windows. I mean, I do have various guns stashed all throughout the house. I guess I should just admit it. I mean, I'm a firearms owner. A lot of people have guns sitting around. You open a drawer, you're going to find them.
And one more time, what was your home address?
That's funny.
Important point to make is you have no children.
Yeah. I've got a dog and I got a cat. And I mean, the cat would probably take over the world if she had thumbs. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do leave them out because if I would need to reach for one, I don't want to have to go for a stay. If I'm in a basement, if I'd have to get out of here, I'd have to get to something. I mean, so whatever.
We have 3 cats in our house, and none of them have ever grabbed one of my firearms that are just, if I've got it, lay it on the nightstand or something. The cats have never shot us with one.
So Yoder says, you sound paranoid. No, I just want to make sure I have access to my farm, so I look at the gun if it's in the safe and I can't get to it.
Paranoid? Maybe, but am I paranoid enough?
I like thinking of myself as prepared, not paranoid. Anywho, so no, I'm paranoid about the cat taking over. I'm not paranoid about my own personal safety. My cat had opposable thumb. She'd rule the world. She's evil anyway. You don't notice it, but she's always lurking. She's always, her and the dog work together to do things around the house that sometimes makes me wonder. So anyway, so we don't need to make this into a shower gun. Yoder, that's funny. No, there is no shower gun. There is a gun in the bathroom, however. So
you could take that Glock in the shower. It'll run. You can drop it in the water, whatever.
You guys are always the one telling me to put my G17 in the dishwasher. So why not?
Isn't that how you clean yours?
What's that?
Isn't that how you clean yours?
No, I use a very obsessive compulsive process using lots of CLP and gun pads.
I wonder if the wife would get mad if I just ran the dishwasher with put my slides in the top rack and then threw a little Hoppies number 9 where the soap goes.
There you go.
I just put all my guns in my top load washing machine.
There you go.
Just throw them in the laundry bag and throw them in, and you're good to go. Right?
Make sure that you unload them though before you put them in the dryer. Just saying.
Yeah, I've went through a few washing machines like that already.
Yeah, that'll happen.
All right, who of us has killed a major appliance?
I have.
We've had them fail and die, but it's never been intentional. No, I have not.
No, I mean, I shot and killed one right here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. When the dryer went out, I hauled it down to Dusty's farm and we turned it to Swiss cheese.
I
got water on my back.
I'm
thinking about doing the same thing with.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Let's see who is joining us over on the gun channel side. We had some good discussion over there talking about the firearms and the clothing. So Sandhills was there and here. David was here and there. Paper Plane Crash in the house. DT Pfeiffer's also over there too. Good to see you guys on the gun channel side. Make sure you guys get over there. Check out the content that's on gunchannels.com. It's awesome. And guntube.org. And finally joining us on the YouTube side, we got Tacos and French Fries, Scott P79, Vash Matrix contributing, Sean Ponnery, Wasteland Wanderer 76, Frank the Tank Hellman's out there, Cowboy Swami, Blue Steel 44, Tahuya P229, Poor Conservative, AC 97, let's see, Kingpin was out there and here. I'm sure I missed a few people. I did see SS Pawn out there joining in. Stan, good to see you joining us. Stephen Dawkins out there. Drucifer is with us too. Ozzy Orsborn joining in as always. And hopefully I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I apologize. Melvin Nutt in the house as usual. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much about it. Local 223, AC 97, Patrick out there too, Gun Snob. All right, guys. So thanks for watching today. We'll be back next week. We'll have more fun firearms related topics. Before we call it, we're going to let everybody kind of say their part, their little outro, and we'll call it good. So, David Bowling, we'll start with you. Anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to Travis's channel, and check out Caliber Corner next Saturday morning.
Hey, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Awesome. Hey, don't forget about those nacho fries. The challenge is out there.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll get it done.
You sound like a guy that likes Taco Bell. That sounds like a good excuse to go to Taco Bell. I don't mind it. I mean, I've grown up on it. Obviously, if you look at me, it's obvious. But
yeah, not a fan of Taco Bell.
Not a fan, dude. Where I live, the town I live in, we've got plenty of good, authentic Hispanic restaurants. You know, we've got a lot of options, so it's hard for me to want to go to the fast foodie places. But all right, man. Sandhills, thanks for joining us, brother.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come hang out and throw my my 2 cents worth in.
Okay, you get some sleep, right? You can take a nap this afternoon.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. We did a wedding dance last night, and time we got home and actually got to bed, it was pushing 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I made sure I set my alarm because I wasn't gonna miss you.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Like I said, this change in date and time, it just feels odd, but to me, it kind of feels like a Saturday, but it's not. So,
speaking of which, we should be back at our normal time slot Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Central, right after Hit or Miss. Tuesday night, 9 o'clock.
Check out 2A Tuesday. So, Squib is taking us grocery shopping with a little outro. So, Squib, anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, sure. Visit your local Myers store if you have one, and if you don't, you should really get a hold of somebody to have them bring it to your area.
How much was that toilet paper? That looked like a good price. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, we don't have Myers,
Angel
Nebraska.
Softest. Yeah, so
I'm more of a
there's family size. That's one for you, Travis.
That's Patushka size. Don't even put me in front of potato chips. Doritos are my downfall. Doritos and Takis. If you've never had Takis before, Takis are freaking amazing. I love them. Takis Fuego. You need to get some Takis, Squib. I want to see your reaction to those.
Surprising to see a store that's got potato chips left.
No doubt, man. They pulled the pallets out this morning, huh? Not by the end of the day.
It's going to get cold, so the bread's probably going to be the next to leave.
All right, man. So, Squib, thanks for joining us. I'll let you get back to your grocery shopping. Go get your get your purchases on, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
We got to get cheese.
Oh yeah,
we got to get cheese.
There you go. All right. So, Tony, anything you want to say before we go?
Just remind the people that Caliber Corner should be on its regular time next week.
Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time.
Thanks for showing me how many heathens we have in the community.
You know, I try not to. I try to do its best, but sometimes it's going to happen. So,
hey Tony,
yeah.
Out in the chat, Ozzy's saying to ask you about early watch. Any updates on that?
Oh yeah,
not particularly. Maybe sometime in February. I can't do it from here with my phone. It just will not work. I've had to reboot twice during Travis's show. So
yeah, it's pretty rough. If you're on your phone, a lot of people don't realize this, but if you're in the Hangouts on your phone, it only goes for about an hour, hour and a half, and then you just magically get booted.
So
it's all right, man.
I'm hoping that sometime the end of the month, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, if you get her going, give us a heads up. We'll jump in there and get her going and help you guys get it promoted and get it going again. So it's good stuff. Guys, make sure you check out Gun Channels. I know there's more content that's going to be popping up over on gunchannels.com today. A lot more podcasts coming up. Otherwise, guys, that is it. Caliber Corner number 75. We're done. Hope you learned a little something today. We had a good time. Thanks, everybody, for watching and joining in. And we will see you guys next week. There we go.